Right now, a dangerous wall of thunderstorms is building across northern Australia. And if you are in Brisbane, Darwin or Cairns tonight, you need to hear what is coming in the next 60 seconds. But here is what almost nobody is talking about. While the north is bracing for severe storms, the south is experiencing one of the most picture-perfect summer evenings in years. And that contrast, that wild split across the country, is exactly what makes tonight so unusual. Stay with me, because at the 5-minute mark, I am going to reveal the exact timing breakdown for every major city, when the storms start, when they peak, and when they finally clear out. That information could save your Saturday night plans. But first, let me give you the number that stopped me in my tracks. Sydney today hit 28 degrees. That is 4 degrees above the historical average for the 7th of February. 4 degrees does not sound like much until you realise that is the kind of temperature spike that signals a heat wave pushing into the east coast. And Sydney is not even the hottest story tonight, not by a long shot. Now, before I get into the city-by-city breakdown, drop a comment right now with where you are watching from. Tell me your city or your town, and I will make sure the next forecast covers your area with even more detail. The more I know about where you are, the better I can help you prepare. Let us start with Sydney, because something unusual is happening over the harbour city tonight. That 28-degree peak is sliding down to around 22 to 23 degrees as night settles in. Partly cloudy skies, zero chance of rain, and winds gusting up to 22 kilometres an hour from the south and southwest. Humidity is sitting at 79%, which means even though your thermometer says 22, your body is going to feel like it is closer to 25. If you are heading out to Bondi or Darling Harbour tonight, throw a light jacket in your bag. You will not need it until after 9, but you will be glad you have it when that southerly breeze picks up along the waterfront. But here is a twist most people miss about Sydney tonight. The sunset was at 7:56, giving you 13 hours and 34 minutes of daylight today. That is peak summer daylight, and it means the heat has been soaking into the concrete and asphalt all day long. Even at midnight, the city will be radiating warmth back at you. Perfect conditions for a late night harbourside walk. Now, do not skip ahead, because what is happening in Melbourne right now is the opposite of what you would expect from the city famous for 4 seasons in one day. Melbourne tonight is behaving itself. 26 degrees today, dropping to a gorgeous 19 degrees overnight. A light southerly breeze at 19 kilometres an hour. Atmospheric pressure sitting at 1,009 hectopascals, which tells us a high pressure system has locked in over Victoria. And when high pressure is in control, that means settled skies, minimal cloud, and virtually zero chance of rain. February actually tends to be one of Melbourne's drier summer months, with less rainfall on average than November or December. So tonight is following that drier trend perfectly. For Melbourne, a city that loves throwing a surprise downpour at you, tonight is a rare gift. If you are debating between staying on the couch or heading out for dinner on Lygon Street or catching one of those brilliant outdoor live music gigs, get off that couch. This is one of the best summer evenings Melbourne will serve up all season. Do not waste it. Here is where things get interesting, and this is the part you do not want to miss. Brisbane is sitting in the crosshairs tonight. The temperature is ranging between 28 and 31 degrees, with overnight lows around 22. But temperature is not the story. The story is what is building in the sky above the river city right now. February in Brisbane averages over 20 rainy days. Total rainfall for the month hits a staggering 172.3 millimetres. That is roughly double what Sydney gets. And tonight, the conditions are textbook perfect for severe thunderstorms. Hot, humid air rising through the afternoon, colliding with cooler air above, building massive cumulonimbus towers that are about to unleash heavy rain, cracking lightning, window-rattling thunder, and potentially even hail. Here is your Brisbane timing breakdown. Storms are most likely to fire up between 6 and 9 tonight. Peak intensity hits around 7 to 8. By 10:30, most cells should have pushed through and conditions will start settling. But between those hours, if you are at South Bank or anywhere along the river, you could get absolutely drenched in minutes. Now hold that thought about storms, because I promised you a full timing breakdown at the 5-minute mark, and here it is for every major city, Sydney. No storms tonight. Clear sailing all evening. Enjoy it. Melbourne, no storms. High pressure keeping everything locked down. You are golden, Brisbane. Storm window opens at 6, peaks between 7 and 8, clears by 10:30. Perth, bone dry tonight. Zero chance of anything falling from the sky. Total monthly rainfall in Perth for February is only 8 to 15 millimetres for the entire month. You could count the rainy days on one hand. Temperatures are dropping from a scorching 30-plus degree day down to a very pleasant 18 to 22 degrees overnight. The tail end of the famous Fremantle Dr. Sea breeze is still brushing through the western suburbs, carrying that cool Indian Ocean air inland. If you are near Cottesloe Beach right now, you just watched one of the most spectacular sunsets in the country, the sun dropping straight into the Indian Ocean in a blaze of orange and pink. Perth on a February evening is Mediterranean living at its finest. Adelaide. Also completely dry tonight, temperatures falling fast from 28 to 30 down to 17 to 20 degrees by 9 or 10. The sky will be crystal clear. But here is what makes Adelaide interesting. The city sits close to the arid interior, and that dry air means heat escapes rapidly once the sun disappears. The temperature swing between afternoon and late evening can be a solid 10 to 12 degrees. So even though it felt like a furnace at 3 in the afternoon, by 9 tonight it will feel like a completely different city. Perfect weather for sitting outdoors with a glass of wine under the stars. Just grab a jacket on your way out because 17 degrees with dry air and a breeze can feel surprisingly nippy. Canberra. Small chance of an evening shower, but nothing serious. The real story is the temperature drop, plummeting from the high 20s down to 14 to 17 degrees. That is a swing of up to 15 degrees between day and night. If you are stepping out after dark in Canberra, you need a proper jacket, not just a light layer. Darwin. This is the one that demands your attention. Temperatures barely move between day and night up here, sitting between 30 and 33 during the day and only dropping to 25 to 27 overnight. Yes, 27 degrees at 2 in the morning. Combine that with humidity between 80 and 95%, and it feels like breathing inside a steam room. But the temperature is not the danger. The storm window is open all evening. Severe thunderstorms are expected with rainfall totals that could hit 50 to 100 millimetres in just a couple of hours. Lightning will be constant. Flash flooding is a real risk. Peak danger runs from around 5 in the afternoon right through to midnight. When these wet season storms hit Darwin, they are ferocious. Rain comes down so hard you cannot see 10 metres in front of you. If you are in Darwin tonight, stay off the roads during heavy downpours and absolutely do not drive through floodwater. It only takes 15 centimetres of moving water to sweep a person off their feet. Cairns. Similar situation to Darwin, but with its own twist. This is the gateway to the Great Barrier Reef, sitting at roughly the same latitude as Darwin. February rainfall in Cairns can exceed 300 millimetres across about 13 rainy days. That makes it one of the wettest spots in the entire country right now. Tonight, expect showers on and off all evening with temperatures hovering between 26 and 28 degrees and humidity that will make it feel like you are breathing through a warm, wet towel. Sea surface temperatures are sitting at a bath like 29 to 30 degrees. No clear storm window here. Rain can arrive at any time throughout the night. And same as Darwin, this is peak stinger season, so the ocean is off limits after dark. Hobart, the coolest capital in the country tonight at 11 to 14 degrees, a westerly breeze carrying cool air off the Tasman Sea, and occasionally the influence of weather systems tracking up from the Southern Ocean and even Antarctic waters can make itself felt this far south. Moderate cloud, slight chance of a light shower, but nothing heavy. One thing that catches visitors off guard is Mount Wellington looming over the city. Up on the summit tonight, temperatures could drop to 3 to 5 degrees. That is winter cold in the middle of summer. If you have any plans to head up there this evening, dress for winter conditions, not summer. Gold Coast, similar profile to Brisbane, but slightly less intense. Temperatures between 22 and 27, with a gentle sea breeze carrying that unmistakable salty tang off the Pacific. Brief showers possible, but storms tend to be shorter and less fierce than what Brisbane cops. If you are walking along Surfers Paradise or Broadbeach tonight, the warm, humid air will wrap around you, but the sea breeze keeps it comfortable enough to enjoy the nightlife this famous stretch of coast is known for. Alice Springs. And here is the most dramatic story of the night that almost nobody talks about. The red centre hit 35 degrees today. Some days it screams past 40. But right now, as darkness falls, the temperature is plummeting. By evening, it will be down to 22 to 25 degrees. By the early hours, it could hit 20. That is a staggering 15 to 20 degree swing in a single night. Why? Because the humidity in Alice Springs sits at just 20 to 30%. There is no moisture in the air to trap the heat. It just radiates straight up into the atmosphere and disappears. And here is the payoff for that dramatic cooling. Step outside in Alice Springs tonight and look up. With virtually zero light pollution and crystal clear skies, you will see the Milky Way blazing in an unbroken arc from horizon to horizon, millions upon millions of stars visible to the naked eye. It is genuinely one of the most breathtaking sights anywhere on the planet, and most Australians living in the big cities never get to experience it. Now let me pull back and give you the big picture, because this is where it all comes together. Australia is roughly the same size as all of Europe. And tonight, within that single continent, you have got Darwin sitting in 33-degree heat with 95% humidity and violent thunderstorms, while Hobart is shivering at 11 degrees, wondering if it should light the fireplace. You have got Perth basking under a bone-dry Mediterranean sky with the last breath of the Fremantle Doctor sea breeze fading into a still, warm night. You have got Alice Springs watching the stars appear one by one in a desert sky so clear it almost does not look real. And you have got Brisbane nervously watching cumulonimbus clouds stack up on the horizon. That is the incredible climate diversity of this country playing out in a single Saturday evening. A few critical reminders before I let you go. If you are anywhere in the northern half of Australia tonight, from Brisbane upward, keep the Bureau of Meteorology app open. Storms can build and move fast, especially in Darwin and Cairns. Do not shelter under trees during lightning. Do not drive through floodwater. It only takes 15 centimetres of flowing water to knock you off your feet and 30 centimetres to move a car. If you are in Darwin or Cairns, stay out of the ocean tonight. February is peak box jellyfish season, and swimming in those waters after dark is genuinely dangerous regardless of how inviting that 29-degree water temperature might feel. For everyone across the southern half, from Perth to Adelaide to Melbourne to Hobart, tonight is a gift. Clear skies, comfortable temperatures and stable conditions. Get outside and make the most of it. And remember, Australia spans 3 time zones. When Sydney is settling into the evening at 9, it is only 6 in Perth and the sun is still up. That is a 3-hour gap across a single country. Keep that in mind if you are making plans with anyone on the other side of the continent. And one more thing for anyone who spent the day outdoors. The ultraviolet index across Australia in February ranges from very high to extreme. While ultraviolet radiation is not a concern once the sun goes down, the damage from today's sun can leave you with a nasty sunburn that shows up hours later. Keep some aloe vera handy tonight just in case. Now, here is what I need you to do. Drop a comment below with your city or town. Let me know where you are and what conditions you are seeing outside your window right now. I read every single comment, and your input helps me tailor the next forecast to the areas that matter most to you. And speaking of the next forecast, here is why you need to come back. There is a storm system building off the Queensland coast right now that barely anyone is paying attention to. What is forming out there could impact the entire eastern seaboard by midweek, from Cairns all the way down to Sydney. Early models are showing some seriously concerning numbers, and I am going to break down exactly what that means for your area, your commute, and your week ahead. It is the kind of development that only happens once or twice a summer, and the timing could not be more critical. You are going to want to see that one before it hits the mainstream news. Stay safe out there tonight. Make the most of this Aussie summer, and I will